Kenya, June 2024. Picture this, a nation on edge, simmering with anger. The streets are alive with protesters, their voices echoing with frustration. This is Kenya during the #Reject Financial Bill 2024 protests. At the heart of this unrest was a piece of legislation, the 2024 Finance Bill. This wasn't just about numbers on a page, it was about survival. The bill proposed a raft of new taxes hitting ordinary Kenyans hard. Fuel, food, housing, everything was about to get more expensive. In a country already grappling with a high cost of living, this was a slap in the face. People were fed up. They felt ignored, their struggles dismissed by those in power. The finance bill was the final straw. It crystallized a deep-seated anger at corruption, inequality, and a government perceived as out of touch. It was time to make their voices heard. This wasn't just another protest. This was different. This was Gen Z's stand. These young Kenyans, born into a digital world, were done being silent. They were inheriting a country riddled with problems, and they weren't going to stand for it. For them, the finance bill was personal. It represented a future where their dreams were stifled by economic hardship. They saw their parents struggling, their own opportunities shrinking. They knew that without change, their generation would be trapped in a cycle of poverty and despair. But this wasn't just about economics. It was about a fundamental disconnect between the rulers and the ruled. Gen Z felt unheard, their concerns brushed aside by a political class more interested in self-preservation than serving the people. They were tired of empty promises, tired of being ignored.
We had to do something. We couldn't just sit back and watch our future slip away. Our voices needed to be heard loud and clear.
This was a protest born on the internet. Forget traditional media, Gen Z had a more powerful weapon: social media. Hashtags like #Reject the Bill and #Taxation without representation became rallying cries, uniting Kenyans across the country. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they became platforms for organizing, mobilizing, and sharing information. Real-time updates, photos, and videos of the protests spread like wildfire, bypassing government censorship and reaching a global audience. Social media gave a voice to the voiceless. It amplified their message, turning a local issue into an international conversation. The government couldn't control the narrative anymore. The world was watching. Section 4, A Nation on Edge, Crackdowns and Concessions. The government, caught off guard by the scale and intensity of the protests, responded with force.
Police were deployed, tear gas fired, and arrests made, but, the more they tried to silence the protests, the louder they grew.
Images of police brutality shared widely on social media only fueled the anger. The government was losing control of the narrative, its actions further alienating the very people it was supposed to represent.
Under mounting pressure, President Ruto made concessions. He announced a review of the finance bill, promising to listen to the people's concerns.
But for many, it was too little, too late. The protests continued, their demands now encompassing broader issues of governance and accountability. Section 5. The future is unwritten, Kenya, after the protests. The #Reject Financial Bill 2024 protests may be over, but their impact will be felt for years to come. They showed the world the power of a united people, especially a generation unafraid to challenge the status quo.
The protests exposed the cracks in Kenya's political landscape, highlighting the urgent need for change. They served as a wake-up call for the government, a stark reminder that they are accountable to the people they serve.
The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Kenya's Gen Z has found its voice. They are a generation that will no longer be silenced.
They are the future of Kenya, and they are demanding a better tomorrow.